Today's guest is President Alder. He's the president of Ensign Global University.
We're looking for the students who recognize that there is value in this degree. We believe we're the best value in the country. What we offer, what comes with not only the accreditation, but the experience that goes along with that accreditation, ranging again from a world-class faculty, world-class facilities, world-class opportunities. It creates world-class graduates who then go on to have world-class opportunities beyond their time at Ensign Global University. Our facilities are top-notch. You could pick up our campus and put it anywhere in the world, and people would say, that's a very nice campus. We have been fortunate to be able to do that.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Scholars Table. This is a show where we bring senior academic and institutional leaders to the table and ask the questions students actually care about. I'm your host, Dr. Banda Khalifa. Today's guest is President Alder. He's the president of Ensign Global University. Ensign Global University runs a CEPH accredited MPH program, the only program accredited in Africa. And in this conversation, we are going beyond the brochure. We will talk about what rigorous public health training looks like in practice, how their practicum is built, what scholarship support and affordability really looks like, and what outcomes students should expect after graduation. If you are considering an MPH, especially if you are exploring strong options on the African continent, wherever you are with global standards, this episode would be for you. So without wasting much time, let's introduce our special guest to the Scholars Table. Good morning, Professor Alder, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here.
Awesome. So, I know where this began. I know you've indeed started to engage other institutions in the US to build that bridge of collaboration, to be able to, bring students for practicum and summer internships and summer institutes. But before we go into the program in detail, I want you to, take a little bit of time, introduce yourself, your career, your professional journey, and maybe at the end, your motivation for setting up one institution in Africa that is also CEPH accredited.
Well, thank you so much. I find myself in a place I hadn't necessarily planned to be early in my career. I was a biomedical researcher in the United States, was a faculty member at the University of Utah in the Western United States, was running academic public health programs in the United States and did quite a lot of work serving on committees like the Framing the Future Committee, where we outlined the future of what public health education should be, among other sorts of activities like that. I had dabbled, I would say, in global health, working occasionally in countries around the world, had the opportunity to start working in Ghana early this century and found terrific partners out of the School of Medical Sciences at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And I had the privilege of traveling a few times each year to Ghana to work on projects that were public health and medical in nature. And I thought that was the career I needed to follow, and we were doing some very good things. And I think God had a different path for me because I ran into Bob and Lynette Gay. Lynette in particular was working on developing a school that would bring U.S. standard education in public health to Ghana. Bob and Lynette had been in Ghana on a religious mission and wanted to leave a legacy. And so I joined with them as an advisor to help establish this university. Back then it was called Ensign College of Public Health. My training, I have a doctoral degree that's in public health. I have additional degrees that were well suited to serving in a capacity to assist as well as the experience to do so. But then things changed, and I had the opportunity to step in an interim basis as the president of the institution when we had an unexpected leadership change. And that interim started a little over 9 years ago. And at one point, it became obvious that the right pathway for me was to serve in a more substantive role as president and to help Ensign College of Public Health become Ensign Global College and eventually Ensign Global University. So that's how I got to this point, very much in brief. But I am so honored to get to be the president of such an institution that is innovative, remarkable, doing important work not only in Ghana and West Africa, but throughout the world.
Awesome, awesome. So, in one sentence, for those who are now hearing Ensign Global University for the first time, what problem do you think Ensign is trying to solve, especially a program located in Ghana with accreditation from the US?
The first intention of establishing this university was to make it so that well-qualified, capable students could stay in the region for their education rather than needing to leave to, say, the Europe or the United States to get the style of education we offer. That was hard for me to put it in one sentence, by the way.
Yeah, but that is well
Yeah.
captured within your mandate. I think that is very encouraging because I know there are times that because of circumstances, qualified candidates can't get access to internationally recognized public health training. So I think this is in the right direction. First of all, maybe you can tell us when NSA actually started, when they got their accreditation, and what their next vision is for the next 5 to 10 years.
Wonderful. We actually launched in 2014 and were initially accredited by the National Accreditation Board of Ghana, which has now become the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. We had to be in a mentored capacity given the guidelines at the time, and so we were mentored by Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, who have been wonderful partners with us and continue to be to this day. We also had a strong partnership with other institutions, predominantly the University of Utah in the US. Over time, we became an independent institution, receiving that charter, the presidential charter, in June of 2024. I have to think on my dates there for a minute. And then the year previous to that, we had received Council on Education for Public Health Accreditation, which is what most U.S. universities that have public health, it's the accreditation they have for those programs and schools. So through that journey of now a little more than 10 years, we've gone through a development process working with these accrediting bodies, working with our partners, working with so many great people to create something that I think is truly remarkable, not only in Ghana and on the African continent, but truly remarkable and unique in the world.
Okay, so I mean, for someone who doesn't really understand the accreditation process, what would you say are the steps, or what did you have to build or change in your curriculum or in your academic processes to meet that standard? And what does it mean for students, for someone who is trying to explore, say, public health training, whether the person is in the US or is in Asia and Africa? Why would they care about a CEPH accredited program?
There's two main reasons to care about accreditation. First of all, and most practically, accreditation establishes standards, and any accredited institution has had to demonstrate that it adheres to those standards. So the National Tertiary Education Commission of Ghana has standards. We had to adhere to those. The Council on Education for Public Health has standards. Many of them overlap. Some are different. And so we had to not only be compliant with each of the different accrediting bodies, but at times we had to figure out when some of the accrediting standards were different, how could we find a way to resolve those differences, which meant we had to do some incredible problem solving, but that helped us elevate the work that we do. So number one, it's the practical certification that the institution complies with important standards. The second is because of that compliance, because the need to demonstrate that compliance, accreditation also demonstrates, so if I come out with an accredited degree, anybody who sees that I have that accredited degree knows I've come through a program that does adhere to those standards. That says something about me as a graduate. So there are two main reasons, practical and helping to legitimize the work that I've done as a graduate in my academic program.
All right, I think that explains it. But I mean, beyond that, what would be the, let's say, 2 to 3 strongest differentiators between Ensign Global University for an MPH and other MPH programs in the region or even in the US? Why would a student consider Ensign? Maybe you are in Ghana, you are thinking of getting a public health degree. Why would they consider Ensign compared to other local local institution?
Ensign Global University, because of those adherence to standards and because of the directives of our founders, has been designed to provide top quality education, world-class education. Well, what does that mean? That sounds great, but what we are about is small class sizes where students get to know their faculty, they work together with their faculty. The education is very interactive. It's working together to create educational experiences that build competencies within our students. They get practical as well as classroom experience. They get connected to the best of what's going on in the world. And we believe they contribute because of the remarkable things that happen to be going on, not only in Ghana, but from the regions where students originate. We have the opportunity to also contribute to the greater good of the world because of the work that's done through Ensign Global University. So exceptional, high quality. Our faculty members come from top institutions around the world. These are institutions like Johns Hopkins University, the University of Utah, Oxford University, etc. We have some terrific qualifications that back our faculty. Our faculty members have been selected because not only are they scholars in their own right, but they are exceptional teachers, mentors, coaches. The idea that they are there to help guide and shape our students into becoming the world-class alumni that we are fortunate to have. Our facilities are top-notch. You could pick up our campus and put it anywhere in the world, and people would say that's a very nice campus. We have been fortunate to be able to do that. We are able to bring in expertise from around the world. We regularly have scholars who come. Of course, we live in a day and age when somebody can teleport in with a distance-based presentation, or they can be there but we're able to connect with world-leading thinkers, scholars, people who are making a difference around the world, and connect our students with them so that they can absorb the great things that these people are doing. That can be part of their academic experience. And as well, when they are finished with their degree and they come out, people know that Ensign Global graduates, we call them Ensonians. If you're an Ensonian, you have distinct characteristics that they can count on for you to do a top-notch job in whatever situation you're placed within. I would say in Ghana and say across the African continent, that's the distinction. In the U.S., there are many terrific programs. And of course, complying with CEPH accreditation, we meet or exceed those standards which have been set for what is predominantly a world-class constituency of CEPH accredited academic programs. But nobody has a program that's situated with those standards in the setting we're fortunate to have in the eastern region of Ghana. And so that becomes the distinguishing feature of how we set ourselves apart from other U.S. institutions.
Okay, all right. So, for a student who's coming in, what does the MPH experience typically look like in terms of maybe number of semesters? How long does the program run? What practicum opportunities are available for students who are interested in joining the institution?
We run right now a program that typically is 3 semesters long. And if students choose, they can do that within close to a calendar year. From day one, when a student arrives on campus, I think they start to see the Ensign Global difference. They're welcomed in. They are known as an individual. They are going to experience academic programming that is rigorous but engaging, is world-class. It is accessible. They are going to see that not only do they have these remarkable faculty members who are there for them and who they are going to get to know right away, but they also have this remarkable team of staff members who support every step of their journey, that they are there to help them solve challenges, whether they be as challenges that are facing as part of their academic programs, or sometimes the world around them creeps in, and our staff is great to help them solve how to make sure that they can stay on pace and can achieve the mastery of competencies that they have been committed to achieve. In addition to that, they will find that through the programming, they will have selections of courses that are designed to meet their intended outcomes that relate to their professional pathway. Everything we do is tailored around how do we optimize the student experience and make sure they come out with qualifications, capabilities, and competencies that allow them to continue their professional journey of impact. Throughout their time on campus, they find that the facilities are impeccable, ranging from wonderful classrooms and lodging and dining facilities, all the way to Wi-Fi systems and redundant Wi-Fi systems, electricity systems that are well maintained, and we have backup power, so we never skip a beat. We have a secure campus, beautifully maintained. Our goal is that when you come to Ensign Global University's campus, all the challenges of the world are pushed away so that students can focus on the priority intent of being there, which is to gain knowledge, gain skills, gain capacities. So we want to push everything out of the way. But we don't want them to be on campus all the time. We want them to make the most of campus, but then get out into the community, because at the end of the day, public health is all about how do we make real difference in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And so practicum opportunities range from working with agencies and different components of the health system, district health offices, regional health offices, etc., to working with some of the remarkable teams that are making a difference, from nonprofit organizations and other NGOs to different agencies, and even in the innovative space where we've seen a remarkable number of our graduates go into developing and creating elements of the progressing health system. So students have quite a bit of latitude and can rely on the Ensign Global University Network, which has tremendous reach. We're fortunate that many of our graduates are well placed in these organizations. We rely on our alumni network. We rely on our friends and collaborators. We rely on community partners. We have a great opportunity not only in and around the campus, but also a broadening network of opportunities, so that whether a student is from Ghana and is looking to invest further in their ability to make a difference there, or they want to work more broadly in the world, we have avenues that they can follow that will help them on that journey.
Okay. And I think the last part is what I am coming to now. Because, I mean, these days people make investments when they know the real return on their investment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about outcomes. The program has been in existence for some time now. So you have some alumni. What outcomes are most common in your alumni? Where have they been placed? For example, if you have any data on career pathways, the kind of jobs, or either PhD pathways or advanced degrees, what areas do they typically get into?
Yeah, there are four main outcomes from a professional pathway standpoint that our graduates experience. The first is there are many jobs that require highly capable individuals in the health system, in the public health system in particular. And so we see our graduates placed anywhere from serving in important capacities in, say, a district health office, all the way up to serving important roles in, say, the Ghana Health Service or the Ministry of Health in Ghana, and everything in between. So we see that what I would call the more traditional public health career pathway. We also have several individuals who come in, they're working in clinical or similar spaces. This is helping them advance within their existing career so that they can take on higher levels of responsibility. They understand the world from a public health perspective, and I can say a little more about that in a moment, but they understand that looking at the system of the world, looking at how we engage with communities and populations and the systems that serve them, and solutions that drive change that lead to greater opportunities for prosperity. So we see individuals that go into those higher levels within their organization. So many don't change organization, but they change positions. The third is that we have students go on to higher degrees, and they go into remarkable universities both in Ghana, across the African continent, but throughout the world, including Europe, the United States, other locations where they're doing advanced training to achieve that doctoral level capability. The fourth piece, which is the one that surprised me, is we have a lot of entrepreneurs, individuals that have come into our program, have seen gaps in the system that is in place for public health, and they've looked to fill those gaps. They've been solutions minded, they've been innovative. That ranges from, we had somebody who started a sanitation company that takes one of the regions of Accra and does waste removal. We had somebody who saw that there was a need for more protein in diets, and they started a poultry farm and done well. We have individuals who recognize that services postnatal for mothers were limited, and they started a company that provides postnatal services and supplies to help mothers with the recovery process after they've given birth. I mean, those are the sorts of things we get excited about. Home health care, we just have so many innovative and interesting things that we actually hadn't anticipated. And it's remarkable to see the ingenuity of individuals like we're privileged to teach as part of our academic institution, give people capacity and give them confidence to use their ingenuity, and the solutions they come up with are profound.
Yeah, and I think that last part is very interesting. And as I said, that is one of the, I would say, differentiators of Ensign that I can envision, because you're very close to the problems we always talk about in public health and community health. So students, when they are equipped with the minimum skill set, they're able to innovate and try and fix some of the issues that we see from day to day. So that is very encouraging. But I wanted to talk about tuition and scholarship. I know like getting international standard education is a bit expensive, especially if you're in the US or in Canada or the UK. So for someone to get a CEPH accredited program, just like accreditation that is given to Hopkins or Harvard or Yale, that may also come with a little bit of cost, right? So let's talk about that. So what is the tuition range looks like for somebody who's coming for, let's say, a Master of Public Health? What does it realistically take to get a degree? So first, for international students, example, those who are coming in from the US, and also those who are from Ghana and the Africa region.
So, yeah, let me give a little background on that, and then I'll explain how we do our tuition. Providing U.S. standard, global standards of education, whether it's in the U.S. or Ghana, there is a cost associated with that. And we know that the education we provide is expensive because there are qualities that we insist upon. For instance, this idea of small class sizes and the ability to connect with faculty members and having remarkable opportunities that are supported with remarkable facilities and team, that comes at a cost, and it's not inexpensive. But we've been fortunate. We've had benefactors who are helping us to offset some of those costs to make education accessible at this level. For students coming from the United States, the tuition for the entire degree program is just north of $20,000, which in the exchange rate today ends up being right around 230,000 CDs. That is expensive in Ghana. That is not expensive in the US. In fact, in comparable academic programs, that actually represents a significant savings. We know that if we were to have tuition at that level, accessibility cost would become a barrier. And so what we've done is we've asked students to pay roughly 20% of the cost of their education. And we, through a series of scholarship and other supportive programs, offset those costs. So students in Ghana are paying in the range of about 45,000 CDs rather than the 230,000 CDs, which is more aligned with what it actually costs. We know that's more than other institutions in Ghana, and we recognize that. Part of the reason for maintaining tuition at that level is we're looking for the students who recognize that there is value in this degree. We don't want to be the cheapest degree in the country. We're not the cheapest degree in the country, but we believe we're the best value in the country. What we offer, what comes with not only the accreditation, but the experience that goes along with that accreditation, ranging again from a world-class faculty, world-class facilities, world-class opportunities. It creates world-class graduates who then go on to have world-class opportunities beyond their time at Ensign Global University. So we ask students to pay about 20% of that. We recognize that that can be a challenge. We try to work with students to find solutions, but we do want to assure that they are committed and that they are willing to work with us, knowing that there are sacrifices being made to keep the tuition at that level. We ask that there's an element of effort on their part to also help offset those costs.
Okay. So there are scholarship opportunities for local students.
That's right. That's right. We scholarship students from Ghana, but also we extend that to the ECOWAS region.
Okay. And I mean, for students in the US, are they able to access student loans if they are interested in,
Yeah.
for example, signing up? Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I'm not sure if the audience understands this, but part of the reason education can be high cost in the US is there's a whole loan system that students can get loans and pay that off over time. So in asking students to bear more of the cost of the education coming from, say, the US, there are loans that they can access. There are two types of loans. There are government loans that tend to be for US-based institutions, and there are private loans for a broader array of institutions, and we qualify for those private loans. The difference is not much. There's a little bit of difference, but we feel that the reduced cost, knowing that maybe loans will cost a little more, still retains an incredible value for having not only a world-class experience for a U.S. student in an academic program, but also to do it in a context like the one that Ghana offers.
Okay. All right. So I think the last but one area I want us to look at is the collaborations that you're building. I mean, I got to meet you when your team came to Hopkins. So if you can talk through some of the collaborations or partnerships you're trying to build that would be beneficial for, say, international students and also local students, that would be helpful. So that's the international component. And maybe within the region, what collaborations are in place, for example, between Ensign Global and, say, the Ghana Health Service or local partners, whether in Ghana or the Africa region?
Yeah, we firmly believe that partnering is a much better way to expand capacity of an institution like ours versus building everything that's just all self-contained. We have many things that we offer as an institution, but we can amplify those with our partnerships. And as I mentioned earlier, we had this mentoring relationship with Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Terrific partners. We still work closely with them and feel that they are friends, our collaborators, and we anticipate that that will continue as long as we exist. The University of Utah in the United States likewise has served an important role in helping to create avenues for not only academic partnering, but other practical partnerships that have allowed us to grow the institution, have allowed us to tap into US-based resources so that we can take advantage of this dual nature of Ensign Global University, being a Ghana-based institution registered in Ghana, yet having strong ties to the United States. Beyond that, as you've mentioned, we are tying in with institutions around the world like Johns Hopkins, and one of our faculty members who is a recent alum with his DRPH from Johns Hopkins. We're opening up wherever possible opportunities to collaborate. We believe we can bring a benefit to those institutions. We know we get a benefit when we partner back with them. Other institutions include Tulane University. We recently signed an MOU with them. Brigham Young University in the US. We're working when we've done joint programming with the University of Oxford in the UK. I'm an alum of there and have been able to exercise some of those connections I have, and we continue to do so. We are building additional connections with, say, organizations out of Harvard University in the U.S. Carroll University, which is a small liberal art college in the U.S., is one of our new partners, which we're thrilled about, and on and on and on. So hopefully this illustrates we are trying to work with top-notch institutions around the world who not only provide good partnering, but we believe help us raise the standards of what we do. And we feel as part of that, it's our obligation to make sure that we're contributing back to them as they contribute to us. We're also working on some innovative programming. I'll just share an example. We are trying to tackle some of the toughest challenges in the world. For instance, getting health systems that are accessible throughout countries, especially countries that are developing, such as Ghana or similar countries in the region. Many people are cut off from access to health services. And so, in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service and in partnership with organizations like the Casta Pebble Foundation and others, we built a program that was developed off of the Integrated Community Collaboration Model, the ICCM, where we take basic resources, we're able to deploy them in through our Health to Go vehicle. We are able to take those and not only make them available, sustain them, work with locally sourced individuals who have been trained and are embedded within the health system to connect and expand the health system to many of these hard to reach communities. With that program, we found a remarkable reduction in under 5 mortality in those communities that implemented Health to Go. We found under 5 mortality dropped by 70%. We knew we were having an impact. That is staggering. That needs to get everywhere. And so with our terrific collaborators from the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Ministry of Health, and we just signed a memorandum of understanding with them recently. We're working together to find ways to take that program and the work that we can do there throughout the entire country, but also use Ghana as a model to show how a country can do this and hope that others in the region will also work with us on solutions like this to meet their challenges. And I'll just note, one of the questions is, why Ghana? Why are we in Ghana? Why not somewhere else?
Yeah.
Why not ship students over to the United States, train them, and ship them back? We've found that Ghana in particular is a remarkable country that is so well situated in such an important and emerging part of the world. We're able to do things in Ghana that allow our impact to radiate into neighboring regions and areas. We're able to work in a country that is stable, is developing, is working through challenges and finding solutions so that we likewise can follow suit. So Ghana becomes not only a great host for what we're doing, but a great inspiration for what we can do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and to tell my audience about your program and the impact that you're making. But before you go, I mean, you've been to Ghana a couple of times.
Times.
What intrigues you about Ghana first? And then second, what is your favorite meal when you're in Ghana?
Okay, that I can answer both those. So when I first arrived in Ghana back in the early 2000s, it was strangely like I was coming home again. And that's weird for somebody who was born and raised in the United States. I had been to other parts of Africa, but Ghana just somehow clicked with me, and it was immediately a place that I loved and felt at home. I now am a resident of Ghana now. And just over those years, I just became more and more engaged in Ghana. Of course, my friends and associates and community partners, all the great people I get to work with in Ghana just are at the center of my heart. And so I always feel that when I'm away from Ghana, there's something missing, and I feel more whole when I get to Ghana. And I just find that Ghana is a place of hope, a place of inspiration, a place that is looking to the future with a positive outlook and looking at solutions, not to frame things as problems, but solutions to the challenges that are before us that we get the opportunity to tackle. And I just love that. I think the entire world would benefit if they had more of Ghana in them. The world has a lot to learn from Ghana. What is my favorite meal in Ghana? Boy, that is a tough one. I will say that because of my time up in the Ashanti region, I have had some remarkable fufu, and I'm a little less Ghanaian. I like the chicken light soup on fufu. I also like it when I can get into a debate with colleagues about the quality of jollof rice in Ghana versus other locations. I have a few Nigerian friends who have tried to convince me that they've got a better version, but I don't see it.
Well, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time again. Hopefully, if I find time and come to Ghana, I'll try and come to campus and see how the place looks like. I've seen pictures, and I think you're doing an amazing job in the region,
Thank you.
providing quality education to people who would otherwise not have the opportunity. So before we go, maybe last words for students who are looking to apply to graduate school, especially in the public health field in the coming years, or even those who are in undergrad and they are thinking of applying to public health programs.
Yes.
What would be your last words for them?
My last words are just reach out to us. We have a terrific team. You can find us at Ensign. You see it on the sign behind me, ENSIGN, ensign.edu.gh. You can find all the information there. If you reach out to us, you won't get a text response. Somebody will reach out to you in person. They will connect with you, and your Ensign Global Journey starts right there. And Dr. Khalifa, we want to see you at Ensign Global University. So please let us know when you'll be there, as well as any of the listeners. Please come see us, get to experience the Ensign Global difference. We would love to have you as a visitor, but even more so, we'd love to have you as part of our Ensign Global family. Thank you so much for having me today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing your vision with us. Well, listeners, this is our episode on Ensign Global University. This is the only university in Africa that has been accredited by the same accreditation board in the US. So you get the same quality education as you would get for attending maybe Yale, Hopkins, or Emory with a fraction of the cost. So if you're interested in exploring public health programs, try and search beyond the US. You can get some right in Africa, in Ghana, that is also globally recognized. So thank you for joining us. This episode is airing live, or it will be premiered on our YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and also Spotify. Until next time, bye-bye.